Hey guys, we are going to today start with the first session of software testing, wherein we are going to cover the first topic, that is software application. And in this chapter we are going to cover different topics, the first obviously being the definition of the software application, then what are the different application components, then what are the different characteristics, then what are the different domain of an application, so application domains, then what are the different architecture. Now you must have all studied this in your graduations or in your engineering or in your BC or somewhere. Okay, we're just going to quickly go through it so that we have some continuation for the next coming topics. Okay, so obviously after architecture there is a next topic called application service model. Then application categories, and the last one is application user. Okay, so these are these 8 topics that we are going to cover in this first chapter. Okay, now let's start with the definition part. Before starting, there are n number of applications that are surrounded currently with us. Okay, from the time you wake up, you start with switching on your mobile phones. You immediately go through maybe some application like WhatsApp, when you, isn't it? Then probably you check your Facebook, then you might check your emails, so probably Gmail that you might be checking. Okay, so all these are applications, isn't it? Yes. Now if you want to define this application, okay, let us start with what is the purpose of each of this application first. Okay, now WhatsApp, what is WhatsApp? It is obviously a messaging app, isn't it? Facebook, it's a social media app. You can say LinkedIn, it's a what do you call it, professional media. Okay, so this is basically social media. Okay. Gmail, it's an email application. Okay, right? So each and every application, there is a task assigned to it. Okay, so if you have to define, so definition would be, what is a software application? It is a set of programs, okay, designed to perform a specific task for a specific user, isn't it? Or maybe a target user. So you see all these applications are designed for specific task and a specific user. That's the simplest definition of a software application. I hope you have understood this application so that we can quickly move to the next topic. Okay, the next one is application components. Okay. So there are the 6-7 components of each and every application. Okay, now basically what is a component? A component is nothing but it's a part of the application. Similarly, like for our body we have our hands, our legs. These are our parts which we can use for properly functioning. Okay, similarly application components are nothing but the parts that the application uses for its proper functioning. Okay, so there are a number of application components. Okay, let us try to define them. So firstly, UI. Okay, So UI is obviously user interface. Then there is user roles and role specific functionality. Okay. Then there is some business rule and validation. I will explain this components one by one. Let me just note down it first. Okay. So next is obviously database and data. Okay. Then next is the reports. The next one is a log. Then there is some interfaces in each application, and the last one is obviously some backend processes that happens. Okay, so let us just see what is an UI. We all know a user interface is nothing but it is used for inputting or viewing of data, okay, and for navigation purpose. It also includes different control boxes, text boxes, or dialog boxes. Okay. The next one is user role. Now, user role or a role denotes a group of user performing a similar task. Okay. Now let me just give you an example. I'll just take Facebook as an example because obviously it's a global application. Now what is a global application? That you will learn in application characteristics. But let's take Facebook as an example. Now if I am a generic user, I am using it for my social media, okay, where I can just post a few things. I can tag someone, I can post a picture, okay, and there are a number of functionalities that as a general user I can do. Okay. But if I create a page, okay, then I became an admin user of that particular page, or for that matter an admin user of a group, okay, wherein I can only allow some of the users to post a few things, okay, or I can basically allow or disallow a particular member. Okay, now that becomes a role. Okay, a Facebook page admin is a role, isn't it? A Facebook member. Now Facebook page member cannot approve or disapprove a member. Okay, that's a functionality or that's a right given to a admin. Okay, now that is user roles, and the functionality specific to that user role is nothing but a role specific functionality. Now I've just explained that a member cannot approve another member, but an admin can. Okay, now approve means what? He can add or delete any member. A member cannot just do those things. Okay, so that is user role and role specific functionality. Now you take any application, you will find there are different user roles and there are different functionality specific to that role. I hope you have understood this, so that we can move to business rule and validation. Okay. A business rule is nothing but a rule enforced on the application. Okay. For example, okay, let's take the same example wherein a Facebook page admin can add a new member. Okay. Now that is a rule, isn't it? That's a rule set in your SRS. Okay, by the designer, that only admin can add a new member. Okay, and validation is nothing but to check whether similar thing is happening or not. That means only Facebook admin can add a new member or not. Okay, the Facebook member should not be allowed to do those functionality. That is business rules and validation. There are n number of business rules, and an application consists of n number of business rules. Okay, and validation is nothing but to check whether all these business rules are functioning properly or not. Okay, the next is obviously database and data. So a database and data. Okay, now a database is nothing but to store information which is collected by the application, where the user is giving some input like maybe his email ID, his contact details, which is getting stored in the database. Okay, and data is nothing but obviously whatever the user, like in case with the Facebook, all your images, your tags, your locations, everything is the data. So whatever user is giving as an input, that is entirely as a data which is stored in the database. Okay, next is a report. Now if you hear report, the first thing that comes to our mind is your school days, isn't it? We used to get a report card. Okay, now that report card was obviously for your parents, it was not for you. Okay, now what exactly was it? Okay, it was nothing but information. It's a consolidated information as per the user needs. Okay, and it is displayed in a friendly manner. Okay, now similarly each and every application has a facility to have reports. Okay, now we are continuing with the Facebook example itself. So what can be a report in Facebook? Okay, now the friend list is a simple explanation of a report. Okay, wherein if I want to check who are my friends or are there any mutual friends or not, I can just go there and I can check. So that is an information displayed in a user friendly manner, isn't it? So that is a report. Okay, now then what is a log? Okay, log is also an information only, again displayed in a friendly manner. Okay, but there is a difference between a report and a log. The information used in log is used for tracking purpose, or the information displayed in logs is used for a tracking purpose. For example, the recent activity tab in your Facebook. Okay, now wherein the user is actually tracking his recent activities. Okay, so that is actually a log. Okay, the next is interfaces. Interfaces is nothing but interaction with the other application or devices. Okay, now you must have seen you can log in through Facebook or a Gmail in n number of applications, isn't it? So your Facebook is interacting with your different applications, so that is an interface. Okay, so there are two different applications interacting with each other through interfaces. Okay, and the last is nothing but a backend process. Backend process is the processes which is happening without any user interaction. Okay, now there are a number of processes that are happening continuously at the background. Okay, for example, there are Facebook memories that pops up, isn't it? You as an user have not done anything other than you might have posted something on that particular day, and that is shown the next year or the next year. Okay, so that is basically a backend process which is happening, right? So this is all the application components.